Good morning, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Level 1 podcast for what is Sunday, the 8th of October, 2023. A much different kind of day today because, number one, the weather here in Washington State has turned. It is cool, it is cloudy, and it is nice. I actually have a breeze coming in my window today. As you can see, it's very bright in here. Like, oh, I can't even really see the backlight. That's because I have my blinds open because I'm trying to enjoy the fresh air for the first time in like 3 days because it's not like the summer Sahara Desert in here. And man, did I need this because yesterday was something else in here gaming with you guys. I had to tough through it. But now it looks like the heat wave is over and the cool times of the autumn gaming season are here. In addition, today is React Day, which means that today we swing over to my sister channel, DSP Reacts, to watch a variety of clips that you, the channel members, have nominated for me to check out. And the good news is, this week I could tell you, it's a good mix of stuff and a lot of Halloween seasonal stuff, which I'm very pleased. You know, this is the time of year when we think about skulls and ravens and killer plants and black cats and ghosts and more ghosts, right? So it's a cool time to do some themed React content, and I'm happy that now that I have this React show that I do once a week, we can actually go through this holiday season and have this seasonal stuff. You know, next month likely it'll be Thanksgiving, or it could be a lot of stuff in regards to like Black Friday and shopping and the commercialization of society. You know, that's why we do the Adpocalypse Marathon. And then, of course, in the Christmas holiday season, right after that, we can all have all Christmas themed stuff for a month. And that's excellent. So I hope that you guys are ready for some chill React fun today. And then later tonight, something else completely different. On the late stream, we'll be checking out the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 beta, which is now an open beta as of this morning on the PlayStation 5. I have not played this yet. I have done a little bit of research. And basically, the game is the same coding as Modern Warfare 2. So you might say, well, how on earth could this be a new game? That's a great question. They're selling it as a new game. They're actually charging $70 plus tax, claiming Modern Warfare 3 is a new game, even though it's the same exact source code as Modern Warfare 2. Figure that out. How people are fooled by that, I don't know. But it is an open beta. And the good news is, it's an opportunity for me to jump in and give it a shot and see if I like it. And if it's something that I enjoy, then maybe I would actually consider getting the full game in November. For variety purposes, having some multiplayer of a first-person shooter in the rotation is a good thing. Maybe I would check out Warzone again, even though Warzone was very short-lived when I played it earlier this year. But anyway, yeah, we'll see. But that's going to be exciting tonight on the late stream, something different for variety purposes. So today is definitely a different kind of day, right? Until tomorrow when we swing back into the regular swing of things, and it looks like tomorrow we'll be beating not one, but two different, very difficult horror-themed games, which will be great. and then we push on. So it's a little confusing coming up. Man, I am torn about what to do coming next week. Like next week, I don't know exactly, what's the best choice is of what to do. So we're going to talk about this in a bit. Schedule-wise, I am conflicted on what I should be doing next week. I think you guys are probably going to be conflicted too. Got some interesting stuff to talk about this morning. I received a suggestion that I'd like to talk about on the show today, and I wonder how you guys would feel about it. Only one news story today, so nothing major there. But before we get to any of that, I feel like the first thing we should do is start talking about what happened yesterday in my content. So, first of all, outside of the incredible, absolutely ridiculous summertime heat wave that we had in the last 2 days, which made it so unseasonably warm in this office that I was sweating profusely. And yesterday I even needed to have this fan with a water gun attached to it to cool me down during the stream. It was ridiculous. Yesterday I made a change to my streams. So for those of you who were here yesterday live, you may have noticed a distinct increase in my streaming quality if you watch my streams at the higher quality settings, meaning 720p, 1080p, or there's actually a new setting, 1440p, okay? So if you watch me on any of those, you should be able to see that the fact that the video is much clearer, and the frame rate is smoother, and it will not pixelize during action sequences like it used to, all right? So if you're saying, I don't know what you mean, allow me to explain, okay? So earlier this year, at the very beginning of this year, I changed my capture setup. My old capture device of 9 years finally bit the dust. Needed a new one. Someone was able to find a capture device that was compatible with my PC, which is excellent because my PC is ancient, and I've been using this one ever since. Now, this capture device can only do 1080p video, 60 frames per second. But this capture device is more modern than the other one that I had, and it took significantly less load to capture from this device. So at that time, I said, how about we try some different things, okay? I increased the streaming quality, I increased the video quality, all kinds of stuff. Now, what I noticed was that it was maxing my CPU when I did this. Like, my CPU use was at like 90-something%. That's awful. You don't want your computer always running at 90-something%. And I was like, well, this is not good. This is going to lead to problems. So I wonder what we're going to do. And so over the course of the first few months of this year, I was experimenting a bit. And someone had sent me some information and suggested that I do something called splitting the processing load for my streams and my on-demand videos. You might be confused. You're like, what does that mean? Well, unlike other content creators on the internet, I do not just do one process of capturing and broadcasting. A lot of content creators, what they do is they just capture from their console or their PC. They run it through capture software like I do. I use OBS. A lot of people use OBS. And there's one feed that goes out to the internet, whether it goes to Twitch, whether it goes to YouTube, wherever it's going, okay? Kick, wherever they're streaming. Then after the fact, once that stream is done, all they do is they take the one archived video of that stream and they just go, bloop, it's archived. There you go. Watch it on demand if you want. All right? They don't split it up. They don't edit it. They don't title it. They do nothing to curate that content. They just let it sit there as a raw stream. I know because my wife and I have watched streamers like this. They're very prominent and they get tons of views. I guess people just don't mind the fact that they just put down raw content and don't even title it half the time properly. I put in a lot of extra effort on top of what a lot of other people do to make it so that my content is more easily digestible and watchable for multiple kinds of audiences. I appreciate everyone who's here every day for the live stream. But at the same time, I understand that I got my start on YouTube as an on-demand gamer. Someone who put out playthroughs offline before I even live streamed. And I still have thousands of people who tune into my channel on a daily basis to watch that style of content. They can't catch the live streams. They just want to watch it after the fact. So, unlike those other content creators that just dump their archive stream and they're done, I put in a ton of extra work and effort. What I do is during the course of me broadcasting a live stream, I separate my content into individual videos and record them locally to my hard drive. It's not just a stream that you're seeing live on the internet. It's actually a twofold piece of content. Now, why do I do that? Well, there's two main reasons why I do that. Reason number one is because if you're recording locally and something happens to go wrong with your internet or your stream, you still have your video. You see? If I were only doing a live stream on YouTube and then all of a sudden my internet cuts out, guess what would happen? You would not have that archived video anymore. You would be losing a giant chunk. What if I'm playing a game and the internet goes out in the middle of a boss fight, and then I finish the boss and I look back and I'm like, oh crap, the last 20 minutes didn't broadcast. Well, now no one will ever see that 20 minutes ever because it was not recorded anywhere. And that has happened several times, usually a year. My internet might ever accidentally cut out or lose connection to YouTube or whatever it may be. And you would lose that. You would lose gameplay. You would lose parts of a stream because I'm not recording it locally. That's number one. Now, number two, one of the major reasons why I've always done the stream here while also recording is because over the years, streaming has changed. Different streaming websites have different criteria for the level that you can actually broadcast. Twitch particularly, when I used to stream on there, they have like the worst. It was like 6,000 kilobits per second. You can't do 1080p video at 6,000 kilobits per second. It's literally not possible. It's going to be choppy and it's going to look like crap, okay? So what I would do is I would broadcast at whatever the maximum they would allow me to, but then I would record locally at a better quality. So that way, if you're happen to be an on-demand viewer, right, you could see a better quality than if you were there live. And maybe you were watching live, you're like, wow, I'm disappointed at how bad this looks. You could watch it on demand later and you'd get a better experience out of it, okay? So I've always done this. Now, one other reason as well that I split up my videos is because it allows you to focus in specifically on the content that you want to watch without having filler and without having confusion. Now, what does that mean? For example, today, what am I doing today, right? I am streaming a podcast, right? Then I'm doing a react show. Later tonight, I'm doing Call of Duty. What if that was all one stream, right? Imagine if I did it all back to back. Now you have one video that's 10 things. Plus, you'd have the pre-stream music. Any commercial breaks that I take would be recorded. It's a mess. In order to navigate it, even with timestamps, that's too much of a mess. Why do you need one video with a podcast, ad breaks, and gameplay? You don't want that. You want that content separated so it's more digestible, right? So that's why, another reason why I split my videos into individual parts and I record them separately from the live stream, okay? Now, don't worry. There's a reason I'm telling you all of this, okay? So, yes, I am very different from everyone else out there with the way that I capture and I stream and I do everything. I've always done it this way, by the way, while most content creators don't do this. They just do the one. And that's why you might say, well, why are other content creators able to play PC games? That was why. Because they're only doing one capture feed. And then they just dump it on the internet, while me, I was always doing multiple. So my computer is doing double the work of most other people who are playing games. So good luck playing any kind of a video game on the same PC that you're capturing twice at the same time, all right? So, the point that I'm getting to here is that earlier this year, I realized I could split the processing load of these two processes. I could make it so that my GPU actually encoded one of those streams and my CPU could encode the other. So as of now, I basically have my GPU doing the streaming. So it takes all the video out of OBS here and it puts it out on YouTube. My CPU is recording the local videos, right, to my hard drive. So because I split that, instead it used to be all on the CPU. Because I was able to split that, now I was able to dramatically increase the quality at which I record and stream. I used to do around 8,000 kilobits per second. Now I'm doing 13,000 kilobits per second, okay? That is well above what you should need for 1080p video, okay? But I want to make sure my videos look as good as they can. I want my streams to look as good as they can. The problem with this is, thus, YouTube does what's called processing. So when you're streaming and when you're uploading, YouTube takes that raw quality video that you've created and they convert it to make it a ton of different qualities for people who can't watch at, say, the highest level. So on any typical day when I upload a video to YouTube, it'll have a 1080p 60 frame per second quality, a 720p 60 frame per second quality, a 480p 30 frames per second quality, and then sometimes it even has two lower versions than that. If you're watching at 144p, I don't know how on earth you put up with it. Can you imagine how bad that must look, right? So, with all that going on, YouTube, sadly, kills the quality of a lot of stuff that you upload or stream. Particularly, the on-demand videos that I've uploaded look good. Like, I've noticed over the last several years that I've returned to YouTube and been doing this higher quality of on-demand video. They look great. They really do. But people have told me that the live streams tend to chop up, that the live streams tend to become really pixelized, especially during a game that has a lot of action. So a first-person shooter, or a game recently like I'm playing now, Assassin's Creed Mirage, where you're in an open world and you're running around these fields full of detail and you're doing parkour across rooftops at a high speed, and all that ends up becoming very pixelized. And essentially what that is that YouTube is on the fly attempting to encode what I'm sending it via my live stream feed, and it's doing a poor job. Okay? So, the reason I'm telling you this whole story is because I was playing Assassin's Creed Mirage at launch day a couple days ago. And although the on-demand videos looked great, they were 60 frames per second, they were smooth, they looked good, people were telling me that the stream did not look good. They were actually quite upset. So the stream quality just isn't up to par from what we'd expect, and it's disappointing. And I was like, well, that sucks. I don't want to put out an inferior stream product. I wonder what's going on. So looking into it, you know, a viewer of mine sent me some data, and they said, after data mining and looking for this information, are you aware that you're likely broadcasting on the wrong codec on YouTube? YouTube is not properly using the bitrate you're sending them, and because of that, your streams look like crap. Now, I want you to think about that, everything I just said. You would think that when you set up a stream on YouTube, YouTube would say, hey, you know, you're streaming at this quality. We recommend that you use this version of our streams because this is going to give you a better performance, right? Or you would even think when you're setting up a stream, right on the first screen when you set up the stream, there would be a big segment that said, hey, what quality are you going to be streaming at today? Because here's all these options we have on YouTube with different encoding options so that your streams will look better. None of that happens. None of it. Okay? It's bare bones when you set up a stream on YouTube. You just got to figure everything out for yourself. And the options of different streaming codecs and things literally don't exist. Listen to this. They hide the option to stream at a better quality and a better encoding codec inside of a streaming key menu. If you don't know what stream keys are, they're essentially a code that you need. And when you have that code, that's the address that your streaming software knows to send your stream to. Think of it like a physical street address to mail a piece of mail to, or an IP address to contact someone on the internet and reach out to them and be able to connect to their computer. That's exactly what it is. It's the address where you're broadcasting your stream. Why are you listing codec and stream quality options only on the same screen where you're generating me the instructions of where to send the stream? They're completely different things. They're not, it's two different steps of the process. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm going to paint a picture. One step of the process is selecting the paint, tools, and the methods I will generate this quality picture. The other is, where do I send the picture when it's done? But according to YouTube, they're the same step. Okay, thanks, YouTube. You're really genius. Again, so what I tell you about people at YouTube. They're incredibly smart people. A lot of the people who work at Google and YouTube are Ivy League educated. The problem is they are book smart. They have no social skills, and they have absolutely no street smarts whatsoever when it comes to how the things they code are implemented. We coded amazing options, and we hid them in a fucking menu no one would know about because we don't actually use the site. So we don't actually know where people would select these options or look for them. So we didn't understand that no one knows these exist and they're hidden behind some kind of a stupid menu. I would have loved to have known about this months and months ago, because ever since I split the processing load for you guys, I thought I'm broadcasting and giving you higher quality stuff. All along, it's not true at all. I'm just giving you low quality streams because I'm streaming at the low end codec. Basically, what I was doing is broadcasting an incredibly high bitrate product to a pipeline that couldn't handle it. It bottlenecked and just made it look like crap for you guys, okay? So the entire time I'm playing Street Fighter 6, the entire time I'm playing, Final Fantasy 16 or Zelda or any of these games, open world games with good visuals and all this stuff, and you could have been enjoying much better visuals. Lies of P, the entire playthrough up to now, the streams have looked like crap apparently. I didn't know that. I wish I knew. I wish YouTube would have fucking grew a brain cell or two and figured out that people would like to know about these options. Okay? So, what I found out is that there's 3 different options for streams. Option number 1 is very low end, anywhere from like 3,000 kilobits to roughly 8,000 kilobits per second. This is needed for around 720p to kind of a low end 1080p video. All right? That's what 99% of the people broadcasting on YouTube will use. But for someone like me, who does this full time, and I want to give you better quality, I should be using something better than that. I'm broadcasting at 13,000 kilobits per second. That's almost double what the capacity of that stream codec is allowed to handle. You understand? So this is the middle of the road codec. This one is essentially meant for streams around 8 to 9,000 kilobits per second, all the way up to like roughly like 18,000 or something like that. Okay? Generally, it's meant for 1440p video. But again, I want to give you the best quality 1080p 60 frames per second video you can get. So that's the codec that I'm now using as of yesterday morning. Okay? Now, there's a trade-off with this codec. The streams should look beautiful, meaning they should be smooth 60 frames, broadcast, and you shouldn't see pixelization like you used to. Like, for example, when I am doing gameplay and you see my face cam, it should look way smoother now. Like, way smoother than it used to. Whenever there's tons of action, the entire screen shouldn't look like a bunch of blocks. Instead, it should look smooth now. All right? Now, I'm not saying that in every case. There's always going to be issues. It's not going to be perfect. I'm not using top-of-the-line stuff. But at the same time, it should look way better now because I'm using this middle-of-the-line codec that's meant for essentially 1440p. And I'm really broadcasting at 1080p, but this codec should be much better for this now. Okay? So just so you know, as of yesterday, yes, the stream should look much better. However, there is a trade-off, and the trade-off is because I'm using the higher-end codec to give you better quality, now I cannot broadcast at ultra-low latency. What does that mean? Well, it means the time between when I say and do something on a stream and you see it has been increased. It used to be around 3 to 4 seconds because we timed it, about a year ago. Now it's around 9 seconds. So there's an added 5-6 seconds of delay, okay, between what I'm doing literally right now and when you see it. It's not a huge deal. Maybe a little bit of annoyance when we're doing morning Q&A and stuff like that where things will be a little bit delayed. It's not a humongous problem, I don't think. I don't think it's going to really add too much. Now, that's much better than the standard. The standard delay on YouTube is like almost 30 seconds. That's pretty bad. Good luck doing anything interactive with an audience when they have to wait half a minute to even see what you're saying, right? So in that regard, there could be a problem. But I think for the fact that as I'm moving forward in this very busy gaming season, and we're going to be playing a lot of fast-paced games coming up. Imagine Spider-Man 2 swinging through New York City, and now you're going to be able to see it at super smooth 60-frame quality without that pixelization that you used to. I think it's going to be amazing, and I'm happy that we got this fixed and figured out now, okay? Rather than, moving forward and hitting it later on, and people are like, oh, God, why does this look so crappy? All right? Now, there even is a third option on YouTube, and that's for 4K video. Yes, you can actually broadcast at 4K quality on YouTube. Good luck doing that on Twitch. No, they don't allow that on Twitch. On Twitch, they're still limiting everyone to like 6,500 kilobits, which is insanely low. It just shows that site does not care about anything that's put on it. It just cares about the money rolling in. That's pretty sad that a company backed by Google, or excuse me, backed by Amazon, insane amounts of money, doesn't care about the quality of content that's being put out on it. It's pretty freaking ridiculous in my opinion. So, here on YouTube, you can go up to 4K. Would I ever do 4K? Because people have actually asked me this. They said, would you ever do 4K? You know, I'm not against it. And quite frankly, I feel like my internet would likely support it. If not, I could get internet that would support it. Like right now, I'm at an internet package that's not the absolute top of the line, but it's like a step down, right? If I were to pay a little more, yeah, I know, more money, I'd have to get increased internet so I could stream a 4K. I would not be against it. I guess the question is a couple factors. Number one, how many people realistically would actually watch me play games at 4K? How many people have the kind of internet to even support that? I find it hard to believe that there would be many people who'd be watching me play video games at 4K resolution. I'm sorry, I don't believe it would be something common. You know, that's a lot of bandwidth being used. Today, a lot of people don't even have unlimited internet plans yet. They're all being nickel and dimed by their ISPs. Now, imagine you watch a stream of 4K. Oh, I just exceeded my internet plan within 20 minutes. Oops, right? So, that's number one. Number two, to stream at 4K, that means a full-on overhaul of all my equipment. I would need a whole new PC, much higher end than the one I'm using right now. I wouldn't even be able to use my current capture device. That doesn't work. It only does 1080p. I'd have to buy a whole new, probably internal capture card, running wires across my room here to get that going. Essentially, it would mean a big overhaul. Now, the thing is, eventually, I do need to overhaul my setup. It has to happen. All right? It's going to happen. In the long term, that it is going to happen. Okay? But as of right now, things are good. I would say the quality I'm streaming at is good, right? You guys are enjoying the streams. You like the stream improvements I've done this year. The webcam's much better. The lighting is better. The quality of the visuals of the gaming is better. Everything's better. There's really no immediate need for me to now say run out there and buy all this new equipment to do a 4K stream. Now, in addition, and I was aware of this, and Darren actually just confirmed it in the chat, 4K streaming, because it is such high bandwidth. I mean, for a good 4K stream, I believe the minimum is 18,000 kilobits per second, but I think it's supposed to be like upwards of almost double that if you want a really good 4K stream. It creates monstrous delay. So, for example, you'd have to wait a minimum of 30 seconds to see what I'm doing on my stream to watch the 4K stream, right? And I just don't think at this point there's a way around that. There's no way to fix that limitation because that's a ton of data that needs to be processed before it can be visually decoded and you can see it on YouTube. So I don't see a way around that as of now. Maybe long term as technology advances, right? But that's the thing, like, for me, I enjoy an interactive aspect to my streams. I like sitting here and reading what you're saying and reacting to what you're saying right away. I like having on the podcast Q&A segments where we can talk and have good conversation back and forth. It's more interactive. You know, I enjoy that. I feel like I would lose that if I'm streaming at a quality that's so high that I have to wait 30 seconds to a minute to see a reaction to anything I'm doing. I do feel like that might kill it. Okay? So, as of now, with this new improvement, changing the codec, I feel like these streams might have hit the sweet spot of what I'm looking to do. Good quality visuals, right? The ability to still interact with all of you. The stream being equivalent to the on-demand videos now. That's pretty awesome. And I'm happy that we got there. I just apologize that it took me some 6 to 8 months this year to figure this out because YouTube, again, book smart, not street smart. Add in all the abilities to do it. Don't put it in any logical place where it's in front of your face when you're setting up a stream. It doesn't make any sense at all, right? Imagine you go to a sandwich shop and you go to the sandwich shop and in one room you order your sandwich completely how you want it to be made. But by the way, there's a secret room next door where they have extra condiments to put on the sandwich, but they don't tell you about that room. Now, if you go in that room, you have the ultimate sandwich because you got banana peppers, you've got all chipotle sauce, all the things that you want for your sandwich, but they're hidden in the side room over there. You don't even know. Only a few people know about that room. Do they tell you when you walk in? No. Do you ask? Why would you ask about it? How would you know it exists? It's a secret room they've hidden on the side. But for those who are in the know, they can go next door and get the best sandwich possible, right? I mean, why even make the room if you're going to hide it, right? But again, it's just ridiculous. That's how they operate on YouTube. Great ideas. Really intelligent. Let's add these new features that'll improve everyone's experience. Sounds good. Could you tell me about them? Could you put them somewhere where I can find them? Like, why are you doing this? Because that pisses me off. Think about all the playthroughs I did this year. That absolutely would have been much better looking, right? I'm curious about, like, my Street Fighter streams. Well, my Street Fighter streams have looked insanely good this year. If it weren't for this YouTube thing, like hiding the encoding, that pisses me off, man. And again, it's not in a sub menu because people are like, oh, advanced settings are usually put in a sub menu. It's not in a sub menu. It's when you're setting up your live stream on YouTube, all your options are right in front of you. Okay? And literally just says stream key. Do you want to use this pre-generated stream key or do you want to make your own? Either one, if you click on it, gives you the low-end key. What you have to do is do a drop-down. There's a button that says make a customized stream key. So you have to hit customize stream key. Then when you hit customize stream key, there's a checkbox that appears that says, do you want to manually set up your stream key rather than use a pre-generated? Yeah, let's see what happens. You check that box, and then another menu opens up. So already it's a menu within a menu. And then in that menu, you get another drop-down menu. And that menu says, do you want the low-end crappy encoding, the middle-of-the-road better encoding, or the high-end 4K encoding? You have to go through 3 separate screens that have nothing to do with the encoder to get to the encoders. And even then, it doesn't even say that that's what they are. You have to understand the technology to even know what you're looking at. See what I'm saying? Anyway, so streams are better now. I hope you'll enjoy them. Let me know what you think. Please, I would love feedback on what you think about the stream quality moving forward. Even this podcast should look significantly better now because I'm in the new stream quality, all right? But just know, if you do click on the 1440p option, technically you're not watching at 1440p. You're watching at 1080p, upscaled to 1440p, okay? So there you go. That was a long story. Yesterday, the streams were Assassin's Creed Mirage and Lies of P. In Assassin's Creed Mirage, I actually enjoyed the stream much better than the day before, because the premiere day on Friday was mostly tutorial stuff. Yesterday, the game opened up. Not only did I get a bunch of new tools and things that I could use in the game, but in addition, it let me choose what I wanted to do. Okay? So that meant that I could either do this mission, this mission, this mission, or this mission. Oh, okay. And just on a whim, the mission I chose ended up being Alibaba against the 40 Thieves, which is actually an interesting storyline. You know, I've heard about that story when I was a kid. And you're actually living out that story for real in the game. I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. Remember Open Sesame? Yeah, that's part of this plot line. It's kind of interesting. And I was like, well, this is nice. I'm glad that I got to choose this. And I had a lot of fun with it, honestly. Like, yesterday, I really enjoyed the game. Now, we're about 6 hours in. I'll be playing it 2 more times this week. So by the end of this week, we'll be a good 12 hours in and essentially halfway or more through the game. I'm excited to see what else happens. You know, we already found a secret room where when you find these hidden golden artifact items, you can unlock weapon and armor, right? Which kind of like supposed to be like special weapons and armor and stuff like that. You know, among other things. So, hope you'll check out the playthrough. I'm really enjoying the game so far. Is it groundbreaking? No. It's essentially more modern gameplay mechanics combined with the old formula of missions. It's all about sneaking. You don't want to be directly confronting enemies in this game. You want to be picking them off one by one, luring them to their assassination deaths, just like it used to be in the old games. That formula is definitely back. If If you like that, you're going to like this game. You like multiple assassinations chained together, this game's got them, and you're going to enjoy that, okay? So, I like it so far. Give it a look. Last night, Liza P stream, we almost beat the game, but we didn't yet. It took me an hour to beat the Laxasia boss, which is essentially kind of the next to last boss. And then after I beat her, then you got another 45 minutes of dungeon. I don't know why. Admittedly, after the Laxasia boss, I think you should have went right into the final area cutscenes and everything, and just went right to the end of the game. But instead, they give you this, what feels very extra superfluous and not needed, final dungeon climb of a tower. It's annoying because the enemies aren't necessarily challenging at this point. It's just kind of like, why am I doing this still again? The one thing that I liked is that I got a special weapon for killing Laxasia. Again, it's another completely unique boss weapon. It's like nothing like the other weapons in the game. It's fun to use. And I'm like, wow, this is great. I can't believe that I'm using another weapon here for the end game. I did get to the boss, the final boss, that is. There we go. I did get to the final boss. I did take on the final boss. But I did not defeat the final boss. And that sucks. Now, you might say, well, then why are you doing a whole other stream? Why didn't you stay late? Because actually, there's another boss. Yes, that I'm fighting the final boss, but apparently there is a optional choice, and if you choose one way, you fight the true secret ending boss. And apparently people are saying that boss is insane and very difficult. So, since that's the case, there was no way, even if I beat the boss last night, I wasn't going to have time to learn a whole new boss. So I said, let's call it quits. And let's have it so that we'll do this again on another night stream and wrap this up. Alright? So we did good. Great progress. Great fun. But I didn't finish the game. We'll finish it up tomorrow. Alright? So yesterday was a great stream day. Had a great time with everything. And thank you. Very supportive day as well. I really appreciated that. And it just went really, really well. Okay? So, I can't wait for more. Thanks for those who were here last night. What's going on rest of the week? Well, today I already mentioned. Today it's the React show. There'll be a lot of spooky Halloween themed stuff for that show. Tonight, Modern Warfare 3 beta. We'll give it a shot. Tomorrow, it'll be the conclusion of Resident Evil 4's Separate Ways DLC on the daytime stream. We got to finish up Chapter 5. We got to the boss but didn't beat it. And then we get to Chapter 6 and 7, and that's the end of the game. We'll hopefully beat it on the daytime stream and wrap it up. Tomorrow night on the late stream, it's the conclusion of Lies of P. We're going to beat this final boss, and then we've got the true final boss, and then that's the end of the game. So I hope you will join me for the conclusion of Lies of P tomorrow night. Tuesday, we will continue on with Assassin's Creed Mirage on the daytime stream, and then the night stream on Tuesday is up in the air. Why do I say that? Well, what if we need some extra time to finish up either Resident Evil 4 or Lies of P? That will be the stream for it. What if, after having played the Modern Warfare 3 beta tonight, I'm on the fence and I want more gameplay to help determine if I want to get this game in November? Then we'll do that on Tuesday night. Or we may just say, all right, let's actually do some Street Fighter. So, depending on how things go with everything else, we'll determine what we actually end up doing Tuesday night. And then on Wednesday, it'll be more Assassin's Creed Mirage, and it'll be Street Fighter 6 Master Ranked gameplay on the late stream, and that's my streaming week, okay? Now, the big question, and this is a tough one, this is a conundrum. It's racking my brain. I can't figure out the answer. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. It's regarding next week. Here's why. Alright? Here is the game release schedule for the rest of October. At least these are the games that I'm most interested in. Alright, you ready? On Friday, October 13th, Lords of the Fallen. On Tuesday, October 17th, Sonic Superstars. On Friday, October 20th, Spider-Man 2, also known as Spider-Man, that's what I'm calling it, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. And at the end of the month, on October 27th, Alan Wake 2. Now, there are other games in the mix, but those are the ones that I am most focused on. Those are the ones that I am most interested in at this point, okay? Now, here's the conundrum. I will still be playing Assassin's Creed Mirage next week. It's a 20-hour game, roughly. At the end of this week, I'll have only played about 12 hours. Essentially, that means I need another 3 to 4 streams to beat the game. Okay? Which is fair enough. Okay. It makes sense. Cool. With 3 or 4 streams needed to beat the game, herein lies the issue and the challenge for me. Okay? How on earth will I play and beat Assassin's Creed Mirage before the other games come out this month if I also play Lords of the Fallen? Okay? So allow me to explain. If I start playing Lords of the Fallen on Friday the 13th, now I need to balance that with Assassin's Creed Mirage and alternate the streaming days. Of course, I still have my React show. So that would mean I'd basically be doing 2 streams of each next week. That means I would not finish Assassin's Creed Mirage next week, and I'd only get like 6 hours into Lords of the Fallen. Okay? By the way, then Sonic Superstars is coming out on that Tuesday. And then I have my day off Thursday, and then that Friday, there's 2 more new games coming out. Right? So, the way I'm seeing it, alright, I'm kind of weighing and balancing everything in my head right now. And I'm thinking about all the options and all the things. And the way I see it is this, and you could disagree, but bear with me here, all right? What is it that really worked about the Lies of P playthrough when you really think about it, all right? I've been playing Lies of P now for almost 3 weeks. In fact, as of tomorrow, when I beat it, it'll be 3 weeks, over 30 hours of gameplay, and I will have beaten the game. In my opinion, the reason that Lies of P has worked as a playthrough and is doing well is because I was able to sink a lot of time into it. I was able to invest a lot of time. There were some weeks when I was playing it 2 days in a row, take a break, another 2 days, right? Like, it was a big investment of most of my main daytime streams for 2-3 weeks. I was able to immerse myself, not only in the gameplay elements, but the lore of the game and understand the story. And that was a big element of it, that we were following the lore and everything. We didn't have 4 or 5 days between streams. I was able to literally do it sometimes back to back, sometimes maybe 1 day's break, and it kept the momentum rolling, correct? I think that's the best way to play those games. I don't feel like if you're playing any kind of a Soulsborne game, right, you need to be on your game. And if you're taking extended periods of break between the streams, you could literally lose your momentum. You could forget the elements. You could, not play as well. Imagine getting to a major boss and then having to take 3-4 days to break, and when you go back to fight the boss again, you forgot everything you knew about that boss. It's like starting from scratch. So what was the point? Right? If you don't understand the point I'm making here, if I start Lords of the Fallen on Friday the 13th, the most I'd be able to play it during that launch week is 2 streams. Only 6 hours of a game that arguably is probably going to be as long as Lies of P was. Probably about 30 hours long. You think these Soulsborne games, that's like the sweet spot, right? So, if I start playing Lords of the Fallen, and I only play it 6 hours, but then within that next week, there's Sonic Superstars, Spider-Man 2, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder, we're going to have a big issue. And the issue is, how in the hell do I play this game? Right? I just don't know how. In addition, unlike all the other games I just mentioned, if you listen to these games, right? Sonic Superstars and Spider-Man 2 and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. And then Alan Wake 2 the week after. They're all completely different styles of game, right? It's a good variety, actually. Lords of the Fallen is just going to be a game that plays like Dark Souls. Now, it's not Dark Souls, and we haven't had an actual new Dark Souls in a while. I mean, you could argue Elden Ring last year, right? But the way I see it, the reason that Lies of P, to me, really excelled is because it gave us something that we've wanted for a very long time and didn't have. Bloodborne. Because Lies of P is Bloodborne. It's just different tweaks to it. You're parrying instead of using the gun to, parry. You're using a weapon. You're blocking, timed blocks. But it has all the elements of Bloodborne. And that's what made it work. With Lords of the Fallen, It's literally just another Soulsborne knockoff, meaning it's trying to be Dark Souls, like a zillion other games have done. And essentially, they've had different levels of success over the years, right? But I feel like Lords of the Fallen absolutely could be an outstanding game. But I don't think that Lords of the Fallen is going to succeed where Lies of P has. I think Lies of P will be the standout game this year for being a game none of us really expected was going to be that good, and oh my god, did it deliver. While Lords of the Fallen may very well be a good attempt at a Dark Souls-like game, I don't think it's going to live up to that, honestly. I'm being honest. Now, I could be wrong completely, but I don't think so. I think what's going to happen is Lies of P got a lot of hype and focus right now because it came out first. When you've got Lords of the Fallen coming out amidst all these other new releases at the same exact time, the focus will be taken away from it, especially because it's not a FromSoft game, it's a knockoff, right? So, here's my opinion, and you could disagree, but here's what I think I should do. I think next week I should not play Lords of the Fallen. I think I should focus in on Assassin's Creed Mirage, play it Friday, Saturday, Sunday would be the React day, play it again on Monday. Then on Tuesday, it's the premiere of Sonic Superstars. Alright? So we can play that as a major stream, and then it could either be more of that or it could be Assassin's Creed Mirage. But if we're at the end of Assassin's Creed Mirage, I think that's exactly what we should do, is we should try to finish Assassin's Creed Mirage. Alright? Now, as for night streams, definitely on Friday, it should be Friday Night Fights, Street Fighter 6. And maybe we should do that one or two other streams during the week. Like, maybe we could do it, like, Sunday night, and then maybe again, like, on a Tuesday night or something like that, okay? I think that Wednesday, we should finish Assassin's Creed Mirage, and we should play some Sonic Superstars on the late stream. So that way, we'll be playing Sonic Superstars day stream on Tuesday when it releases, and night stream the next day. Okay? Now, that would leave a few night streams open. Like, that would be, like, maybe Saturday night, maybe, like, Monday night would be open. And the thing is, we could do pretty much anything we wanted, right? We could think about, what would we like to do just for a few small streams. I could experiment. I could go and try Forza Motorsport and just see what it is and see if it's good. How does it run on the Series X? Is it worth something that I would want to play for chill streaming or not? Or we could do Starfield again. We could actually have some Starfield streams next week, which I'd be totally cool with. To have a stream or two, late night streaming, that's chill Starfield streaming, I'd be down for that. So, here's what I think we should do for next week. Friday the 13th, Assassin's Creed Mirage and Friday Night Fights Ranked Street Fighter, Master Level. Saturday, Assassin's Creed Mirage and Starfield. Sunday, the React Show and Street Fighter. Monday, Assassin's Creed Mirage and Starfield. Tuesday, the premiere of Sonic Superstars and a night stream of Street Fighter. And then Wednesday, the conclusion of Assassin's Creed Mirage and another night stream of Sonic. Then we'd be off on Thursday. When I come back that Friday, it would be the premiere of both Spider-Man 2 and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Since I finished Assassin's Creed Mirage at that point, it'll be a focus between those three games, and we can rotate them around. One day it could be Spider-Man and Sonic. One day it could be Mario and Spider-Man, right? And then we could have Street Fighter in the mix for that whole week, okay? And then, of course, at the end of the month, we've got Alan Wake 2. I think that's what we should do. Now, before people freak out and say, so you mean you're skipping Lords of the Fallen? You're not going to play Lords of the Fallen? How dare you not play a Soulsborne game? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you answer to? We are your masters. We tell you what to do, and you fucking do it. And if you don't, you fail. You miserable wretch of a human content curator. I wish that was like an exaggeration, but some people actually do ask like that, or talk like that, and they act like that, and it's ridiculous, right? Listen, I hear you. I hear what people are saying. They liked Lies of P. They want me to play another game like that, okay? I hear you. However, I think we should play it next month, okay? Allow me to tell you what comes out in November, all right? Talos Principle 2, which I don't even know if we're playing. WarioWare Move It, which I don't even know if we're playing. The first major game I know I'm playing in November is Like a Dragon Gaiden, and that's on November 9th. Then there's Modern Warfare 3 releasing on November 10th, okay? And then there's Super Mario RPG Remake on November 17th. Those are the only games I have locked that I'm even, like, set to be interested in. November is an almost empty month, okay? So what I'm thinking is start up Lords of the Fallen in November once we've wrapped up the playthroughs of Spider-Man 2 and Alan Wake 2. Once those are done and now I'm looking for something else to do, start up Lords of the Fallen. And here's the good thing about that. Then Lords of the Fallen can be my focus, and I can play it similar or even maybe more dedicated than I did Lies of P. It can be my major game that I can say, okay, now I don't have to worry about this only being played every third or fourth day, right? Because that is my concern. I don't want to start Lords of the Fallen and then I only play it once a week, twice a week, and I'm not getting anywhere in it, and I'm not getting better at it, and we don't care about the lore because I'm playing it so sporadically, no one gives a shit, right? I'd rather focus in on it and get good at it. And by the way, I would love, by the end of this year, to do a direct comparison, Lies of P versus Lords of the Fallen, which is the best Soulsborne attempted knockoff this year. I know people say knockoff is a bad term. What you got to understand is that really it feels to me like FromSoft kind of created a new genre. The ultra hard RPG with gothic or horror tones to it, right? So when everyone else makes one, you kind of use that term. But for me, I don't see it that way. Like Lies of P has been outstanding. There's nothing that I really have that's overly negative to say about that game at all. I think it's one of the best games of 2023. It's still a knockoff, but it's an insanely good one, where it has its own identity. I mean, by God, the story is copied from Bloodborne, but it's got elements of Pinocchio and other things in there that makes it feel original, different enough that it's a great game that stands on its own and doesn't have to be said, oh, you see, it's the only reason it's good is because they ripped off FromSoft. No, I don't believe that. So, I really feel that I should focus on Lords of the Fallen next month. I don't think it makes sense to start it this month. I think it would be a disservice with all the other stuff going on that I'm going to want to play and you guys are going to want to see. To play a game like that and only play it sporadically, I think it's not going to be worth it. It's going to be a very big disappointment. So that's my attitude, I think. I think next week we should focus in on playing and finishing Assassin's Creed Mirage, balance that with late night streams of Street Fighter and Starfield. Then start up Sonic on Tuesday, finish Assassin's Creed Mirage by the end of that week. The next week will be a focus on Sonic, Mario, and Spider-Man 2. At the end of the month, we bring Alan Wake into the mix. We wrap up those games by early November, and then once those games are wrapping up, then we bring Lords of the Fallen, and Lords of the Fallen gets the prominent feature on my streams, and we can play the heck out of the game. Okay? That's my take. Oh, yes, I know. There's a Grinch game coming out, and that I'm going to probably play around Christmas. That's why I'm not mentioning the Grinch game. Why on earth would I mention that in October? No one's going to play this Grinch video game in October. But that could be a good one for Christmas time. All right? So I hope my line of reasoning is making sense. All right? Because here's the thing. I feel like if I don't play Spider-Man, or I don't play Alan Wake, or I don't play one of those platformers when they come out, no one will care later on. Those are the kind of games you have to strike when the iron is hot. When they're new releases, that's when everyone wants to see them and experience them. A game like Lords of the Fallen, it's kind of like another FromSoft game. Those games are good no matter when you play them. And the more attention you give them, the better that they can be enjoyed. Right? I actually think that, if I were to play, let's say, Lords of the Fallen next week, and I say, well, I'm just going to skip Spider-Man 2 then I might as well never play Spider-Man 2. Because if I played Spider-Man 2 in November, December, no one would care. They'd be like, you gotta play that when it's new. When everyone's talking about it, right? That's my take anyway. So, I think that Lords of the Fallen is going to be a good playthrough. And the thing is, I want to do it right. I don't want to start playing it in mid-October and play it once a week, twice a week, and we get nowhere in it. And people are just like, well, when are you going to play more? Well, sorry, there's another new game. There's another new game. Well, then why did you start Lords of the Fallen? Exactly my point. That's exactly my point. Let's tackle it when we have the time to focus on it. All right? So that's my take. Now, I'm just saying this today for the first time. I want feedback. Give me feedback. I want to hear everyone's feedback. If you disagree with this, then what should I do? Right? I need to know what you guys think. And if you say, well, skip Sonic, that's not a solution. I'm not going to... Sonic is a short platformer. If I skip Sonic, that's not going to give me enough time to play through Lords of the Fallen. That's ludicrous. You know? It's not a solution at all. It would be like, I got to skip one of the main games. You want me to skip Spider-Man 2, one of the biggest, most anticipated games of the year? You want me to skip Alan Wake 2, the game people have been waiting for 10 years, and arguably the only major horror release of October now? You know, I don't think so. Right? So, I think I want your feedback, everyone. I want feedback. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me. Input. Need input. Some 80s references there for you. Please give me your input and we'll know what you guys... I want to hear what you guys want. Okay? Sounds good? See, Foam Sword says, I feel Lords of the Fallen will still bring in viewers even if you wait to play it because it's a frustrating game. I believe you. I totally believe that. I do. I think that it doesn't matter if I play Lords of the Fallen on Friday the 13th or if I play it in November. It's still going to bring in attention and people will like the playthrough. I believe that. And especially as I'm not waiting so long. Like, if I waited till next year to play Lords of the Fallen, yeah. Then a lot of the... I could definitely see that a lot of the hype would be gone. But if I'm only waiting a few weeks, you know, maybe a month to play it, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Okay? Okay. Alright, so guys, let me know your take. I want your input on this. Alright? Thank you so much. I look forward to hearing about it. And we'll talk about the next few days to determine what I'm going to do starting on Friday. As for, like, news stories and the like, there's almost nothing going on today. Alright? I have two things I want to talk about. This is not really officially news, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's time for your favorite segment, my favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment is DSP News. So, this is only one quick thing I want to talk about today. You ready for this? Listen to this. Excuse me. In Japan, I can just imagine what went through your heads when all I said was in Japan. I wonder what the first thought in your head, right? But anyway, in Japan, streamers have decided to ban Guile's stage in Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo from tournament play. You can no longer play on Guile's stage in Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo in a Japanese tournament. Now you might say, what? It's 2023. 2023. Super Turbo has been out for nearly 30 years. Why in the holy hell would they be banning a stage for tournament play in a game that's been out for 30 years? Is it because they found a huge game-breaking exploit? Is it because the stage runs at an improper speed, completely skewing competitive play? Are one of the Air Force people in the background flipping the bird and they just discovered that? No, none of the above. What's happened is the following. For some weird reason, when they go to stream their tournaments, when they're streaming Guile's stage, the streams are getting shut down for copyright infringement. Yes. And this just started happening. So they're doing Super Turbo tournaments and they can't stream the tournament because the streams keep getting shut down whenever Guile stage boots up. And they're like, what? How could this be? This fucking game's been out for 30 years. Hundreds upon hundreds of Super Turbo tournaments have been broadcast. Why is this happening? Apparently, some company that does not own the rights to the song has claimed it across the fucking internet. They claimed it on YouTube. They're claiming it on Twitch. They're illegally claiming Guile's stage theme from Street Fighter 2 as their legal property, and they're shutting down everyone's content. Now, I know that sounds stupid, because it fucking is. I've been arguing with you guys for years about this. Why do these companies, these broadcasting sites, and or file sharing, uploading services, why are they violating copyright law? What I mean by that is that at any moment that one of these sites takes down someone's video or takes down a stream and says, oh, copyright claim, if they did not vet the claim before they issued the takedown notice, they actually broke copyright law. Copyright law does not allow you to enforce the law without vetting. You can't do it. But YouTube, Twitch, all these places do it all day, every day. All right? They are under this weird premise that they are completely protected by any kind of wrongdoing, because there is a law in place that essentially says that these upload websites, file sharing websites, whatever you want to say they basically are immune from any kind of prosecution or legal ramifications for something uploaded to their site. They're not responsible for what's on their site. However, they are required to have a formal process by which a content owner or copyright holder can identify and claim their own content and request that it get taken down if used improperly. And this is the problem with YouTube and Twitch and every other site that employs this, okay? They don't want to get sued. They don't really care if the content on their site is used properly or not. They don't give two shits. You want to know what they care about? As long as money is rolling in some way, they could give two fucks what's on their site. But the moment that someone identifies something on their site as improper, whether it's, oh my God, it's a violent video of people hurting each other, or, hate crime kind of stuff, terrorism kind of stuff. Obviously, they don't want that on their site, not only because, it could basically be identified as the reason why something happened that's awful, but it could be considered promoting said behavior. So they don't want to be responsible for that. They don't want to get into a big embroiled battle. They've actually been sued over the last couple of years. There was just a case that went to the Supreme Court where apparently a teenager watched terrorism recruitment videos on YouTube and then actually went off and joined a terrorist organization, and the parents sued YouTube and said if it weren't for you harboring these videos, our teenager would have never been brainwashed and our life wouldn't have been ruined, and it's your fault. And it went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled that YouTube's not responsible. Okay? That they don't want to mess with that. They're not changing that precedent. But YouTube is required to have a system in place so that if someone says, hey, wait a minute, that video you put on your channel is mine. You stole my content. You didn't get my permission. You don't have legal right to do it. It's not transformative. I want that down. They have to have that ability on the site. If they didn't have that, then they would be legally responsible for massive cases of copyright infringement. All right? And they could be shut down, sued for damages and shut down. So as long as they have the system in place, they're legally protected. Okay? The problem is the systems in place still aren't good. The system in place is rampant for abuse. It allows people to lie and say they own something they don't. And sadly, the YouTube or Twitch or whoever it is doesn't vet the thing. When I was streaming on Twitch, okay, I was streaming the Destroy All Humans remake many summers ago, like 3-4 summers ago. All right? All of a sudden, my stream gets shut down. What? Oh, we received a copyright claim. From who? Oh, the maker of the game. They claim they own the game and they don't want you streaming their game. What the fuck are you talking about? Prove it. I don't believe it. So, of course, I appeal it, and within a few hours, all the restrictions are lifted and I can stream again. They literally will shut you down first, and then when you say, no, this is bullshit, obviously it's someone trolling, then they fix it, right? On YouTube, it's even worse, because on YouTube, half the time, if they get fooled into thinking that a false copyright claim is real, you have to wait 2 weeks for it to clear up. Now, what if you get multiple strikes on your channel that are bogus? You could have your channel suspended or frozen, and then you can't stream, and then you can't upload. That's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. But you're getting slammed with false stuff. And so, in this case, a video game that's been out for 30 years, that Capcom has never claimed music from, people are getting shut down streaming the game because some asshole has erroneously loaded the rights to Guile's theme in Street Fighter 2 as their own. It's not their property. They're lying. But YouTube and Twitch and these other sites are dumb as dirt. And they grant the erroneous claim first and then make these, streaming, companies or whoever are streaming the tournament, making them try to clean it up after the fact. That's fucked up. Right? I just don't get it. How? Why is someone not taking them to task for this? There's a difference between, okay, you can't be responsible for what's on the site. That I get. There's a law, says they're protected. Anything can be uploaded to the site. YouTube, Twitch, they're not legally responsible for the content. But if the law says that you are required to have a system by which people can claim and take down content that they have identified as their own property, if that system is on a daily basis massively misidentifying content, and there is no proper vetting system for it. Because, for example, earlier this year, people were saying that I was taking down videos on YouTube. All right? That is completely false. The only videos that I've taken down off of YouTube are videos that are someone takes this podcast and rips it in its entirety and just re-uploads it to the channel. No transformative work added whatsoever. Nothing to add commentary or criticism. Nothing to make it fair use. If you're just ripping someone's pure raw content and re-upping, that's theft. That's completely illegal. You don't have a legal leg to stand on. You have absolutely no rights to do that. All right? But the moment that you edit it a little bit and you change it and you say, here's what I'm criticizing, here's what I think is bad about this or good about this or whatever it is, then it's protected. Okay? So, to me, I get it. All right? That's the only thing I would ever take down, is if someone blatantly just ripped my raw content. That's the only thing I would ever even care about. And by the way, I don't care about it. It happens every day. I know it. I don't go after these people. All right? But right now, there's people supposedly impersonating me, putting false claims against people's content in my name. I contacted YouTube about it. And I said, this is happening. And they said, well, no, you have to understand, we only grant claims that are true. And I was like, no, you don't. Because literally any claim you have on your site right now in my name is false. I haven't done any of these. Take a look at my YouTube channel. I haven't claimed anything. None of this is listed in my copyright claims queue. It's empty. So how can you say I'm doing it? Because here's evidence of people who said it's happened. And I gave them the evidence. And you want to know what YouTube told me? Well, you have nothing to do with it. But it's my name. No, you have nothing to do with it. This is between the person who gets the false claim and us. And if they have issue, they need to contact a lawyer and contact us. That's what they said. That's YouTube's attitude. So, we don't want to deal with it. We don't want to clean up our mess that we've created with these broken copyright systems. If you have an issue, get a lawyer and have the lawyer contact us and start a lawsuit. And then maybe we'll look into it and fix it for you. But outside of that, don't even bother telling us about it. We want nothing to do with it. Well, someone's mass impersonating me. They don't care. They literally told me, we don't care. There's nothing you can do to fix the problem. It's not on you. It would be on us or between us and the person getting the false claim. And the only way they can get help is to get a lawyer. I was told this in writing. I showed you guys. I put all this on the internet earlier this year. Black and white, this is what YouTube support told me. This is their legal explanation they're told to give to people who have issue with their copyright system. So, right now, you literally cannot play Super Turbo and have Guile's theme in your video. It could be misappropriated as someone else's content, and your stream will either get shut down or the entire rights to your video and stream will be given to someone else who doesn't own the rights to the song just because YouTube doesn't care. Or Twitch, or both. Right? How messed up is that? Right? It's ridiculous. And you can't, what do you, now just for the record, I want you, just so you know, I did look into getting a lawyer this year. I spoke with legal representation earlier this year, okay? And I almost went through with it. Almost. Want to know what stopped me? The cost. Because just the legal retainer to get a lawyer is ridiculous. Thousands of dollars just to get a retainer so that they'll do minimum work. And then you want to know what lawyers charge per hour? On average, around $200 to $300 an hour for their work. I want you to think about that, okay? So what YouTube is saying is, if you feel that we're breaking the copyright law by taking away your right to upload because we're saying the content that you're uploading is someone else's legal, property, and you think that's wrong, get a lawyer and spend a minimum of thousands of dollars for a retainer and then hundreds of dollars an hour to file a lawsuit against us to get us to stop. So essentially what YouTube is saying is, if you want to actually have the legal right to make content, you have to be rich. If this ever went to a court of law with a class action lawsuit, YouTube would lose. Or Twitch or whoever. This is not legally sound. There's no way on planet Earth that would be legally feasible. That we have a system in place that we blatantly admit we don't vet the content properly. And then when people tell us that it's wrong, we ignore it and say, get a lawyer, spend thousands of dollars for us to even look at it. It would never fly. Not only would YouTube lose the case, they'd then be found to pay all the legal fees for everyone who ever had to get a lawyer. All right? But the reason that people don't bother with it is because they don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. If you're a content creator who streams on Twitch or streams on YouTube or uploads to them, and then you get into a legal battle with them, likely they would not want you on their site moving forward, and you wouldn't be able to make a living there anymore. You see? So, yeah, people don't want to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? So, it's pretty crazy to think about that. I mean, I know this is a wild news story. It's a 30-year-old video game, and now people have to say, we can't play this game because every time that we fucking play Guile's theme, the whole stream gets shut down or whatever. It's preposterous. But for some reason, we just keep allowing this to happen. No one's really taken YouTube to task for it. It's just accept it. Just accept the fact that YouTube will not abide by copyright law and continuously erroneously take shit down, and we just have to deal with it. I don't think we should. But at the same time, I mean, I'm not the guy to do it. I'm not the guy to be starting lawsuits and stuff. I have no money, no time. I can't do that shit. But, I mean, hey, if this really is as rampant of a problem, which it seems like it is, I would be suing YouTube. If it was something that affected me on a daily basis and it was ruining my business and my life, yeah, I'd be banding together with other people across the internet to try to get this fixed. I don't know what else to say. I'll say this. If you're someone who's been negatively affected by this, if you're someone who your videos were taken down in my name, I didn't do it. All right? I'm telling you all guys right now, I'm being transparent. I'm not doing it. You should sue YouTube. It's the only way to fix the problem. You have to get a lawyer and you have to contact YouTube and with a lawsuit and say, this person is not doing it. They've outright said publicly they're not doing it. They contacted you and publicly disclosed the conversations where they said they're not doing it, and you still don't care, so now we're taking you to court. It's the only way anything will ever change. Once YouTube loses a giant court case that's a class action lawsuit, then things will improve. But until that happens, things will continue, you know? But I really don't foresee it happening. You'd have to be rich to do it. Who's going to have the money and time to do that, right? And again, I think the best case scenario would be to band together with others who've been very negatively affected by this broken system, right? Team up with the streamers who are trying to stream Super Turbo. Team up with the other companies who said all our content got shut down because of false copyright. Team up with all these people. Do a class action. Best way to go about it. You know? I was shocked. I was outright shocked earlier this year that I went to YouTube and said, I'm telling you, I'm the person. I didn't do any of these false claims. And I want this cleared up. And they refused. They said, there is nothing you can do. It's not on you. You know, it's between the person who got the claim and us. And if they have an issue, they have to get a lawyer. That's what they told me. The outright, black and white. I have it documented. I saved the conversation. I was like, that's their solution. Wow. Anyway. We got to get the shout outs, guys. I have something else I wanted to talk about today, but we didn't get to it. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow. Someone had a suggestion about me setting up streams way ahead of time. I think in some cases that would work. In other cases it wouldn't. But we have no time to talk about it today because we went long. So let's save that conversation for tomorrow, and let's get the shout outs for today. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. So, Juan David, thank you for re-upping your membership for 26 months. And, thank you for re-upping your membership for, it didn't say how many months for some weird reason. And then he says, it's almost your birthday. I'm well aware. You tell us every day. I hope that you have a good birthday and you're planning something special. Mr. Game Master dropped 2 super stickers earlier. Thank you for the super stickers, Mr. Game Master. Spawn Killer did a $2 super chat and says, I can't wait for Alan Wake, my favorite from 2010. Yeah, and of course, this one's way different. This one, for the tone, apparently, is true horror. While the original Alan Wake, I would say, was more suspense thriller with some horror aspects, but it was mostly suspense thriller. This one, okay, is essentially, horror themed. So there you go. I'm excited for it. I hope it's good. Okay. All right, cool. So that's the super chat side of stuff. Now we go to the tip side of things, shall we? Okay. So we start off with a $1 tip. This doesn't even make sense. Isn't your job to know about and research your stream quality? Yes. I have a full-time job. I'm actually paid a salary to research how YouTube sets up streams. I don't know if you knew this. I'm actually all I'm supposed to do is click through YouTube's menus looking for codec options. Yes, correct. No, stupid. That's not my job. That should be YouTube's job to explain what they've coded and made available for people, the end user, to use. Again, that's like saying, oh, so you walk into the sandwich shop and literally there's no explanation whatsoever of how to do anything, and none of it's in front of you. It's just wall. You're surrounded by 4 wooden walls. Oh, but didn't you know that if you push the secret panel over here, the door opens up to where you can actually get your sandwich made? You know? Like, what are you talking about? I mean, sometimes you guys just set yourself up for stupidity. I mean, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. No, it's not my job to figure out how YouTube runs. Wow. I mean, that's tremendous stupidity. Thank you for the tip, though. All right. I received a $5 tip from Guitar Player. All right. And let me get your animation going. Let's see what he has to say. Thank you for the $5 tip, Guitar Player. I'm in the wrong menu. There we go. Okay. So Guitar Player with a $5 tip. By the way, I will say this. Please remember that any contributions right now will carry over to the React stream. Even though we go from one channel to another, all this stuff will count for that other stream. So if we hit $50 in tips now, the Gunner Glasses will carry over to the stream on DSP React, etc. And keep in mind that my goal is to try and get the tier 1 tips goal on every stream this week, and also to hit 650 members by the end of the week. So please consider contributing in some way. Thank you. All right. So Guitar Player says, I don't think people should be angry with you if you don't play a game right now. They should be angry that so many game publishers just release all their games at once. Well, I mean, this is just something that we've now had to put up with literally every year for 15 years that I've been a creator, correct? I mean, literally every year for 15 years. For some weird reason, these companies drop all their games at once, all within the fall season. I say a weird reason, but we know the reason. They feel if they drop all their games now, they will get artificially inflated sales for the holiday season. That, you know, if Lords of the Fallen and Spider-Man 2 and Mario and Sonic and Alan Wake 2 and Call of Duty and the Mario RPG, every game, if all those games drop now, People will hear about other people playing them and get hyped for them, and then they'll ask for it for Christmas. And so you'll get artificially inflated sales for the Christmas ending of the year. To some extent, that's true. I don't feel like it really is the extent that people that they believe. Like back in the day, perhaps, you know, but I don't think that's really the case anymore. I think now, pretty much year long, we have great games that come out, and people will buy great games whenever they're coming out. You don't have to wait for the holiday season to try to get a sufficient amount of sales. And I will also say this. I do absolutely believe that these game companies miscalculate, and they think that by releasing their games during this busy fall gaming season, that they're essentially going to get more sales. But in a lot of cases, it's the opposite. Because they've released their game among so much other competition, they get less. Here's a perfect example of this. Last year, a game called Marvel's Midnight Suns released during the busy fall gaming season. By all reports, it was an exceptionally good game, made by the same makers as XCOM, okay? Played like XCOM, but with Marvel characters in it. And anyone who liked that style of game was giving it 9 out of 10 reviews. Do you want to know how much it sold? Insanely low. Tons of people saw it was coming out, said that looks interesting. But there was all the other games coming out during the fall, and they bought those instead. The game monstrously underperformed, was a ginormous money loser, both for the game dev and the publisher, and you can buy that game for $5 today. If they had released that game at another time of year, I fully believe that game would have been a success. But they erroneously decided, put it out in the midst of every other giant release, and everyone said, well, sorry, we're going to go where the hype is. And XCOM style games just don't really have a lot of hype. So we'll, you know, play it if we have a chance, you know. Also, you know what other game that also failed? Mario plus Rabbids, the sequel. I forget what it was actually called, because the first one was called Kingdom Battle, and there's another one. Again, another XCOM style game that released in the same window as Midnight Suns, but all the other releases. It also monstrously undersold and flopped. But there's a reason why. You can't release those kind of games all in the fall. No one's going to be buying them. You got to have the timing. Timing is key. And I agree with you, guitar player, that too many companies erroneously assume that just because they drop a game in the fall that it's going to sell for Christmas. It couldn't be further from the truth these days. It's all about the marketing and the hype and the budget and who's going to be talking about the game on social media and hyping it up. And those games didn't get it. So, okay. Continuing on, it was Sparks of Hope, and it came out on October 20th, says Derek. Yes, and I think Midnight Suns was November, and they both flopped. Back-to-back flops. Okay. Continuing on. I received a $2 tip from Pimple Shits. Do you remember a game where you could go everywhere and shoot people? I think the game was banned in some countries. You mean Grand Theft Auto? No, I have no idea what you're talking about. But in GTA, you could drive wherever you want in the open world and just shoot anyone. So, it doesn't sound like a very new premise for a video game. What's going on, Jade? Good to see you. Let's continue. I received a very generous $25 tip from Dan the Man. Thank you to Dan the Man for a very generous tip this morning. Let's get a nice animation for you, Dan. Shit, I can't type. And that will get us up to $32 in tips so far. Very nice. Now, as of now, what the hell is this? Okay. Delete all of that. Okay. Nothing else over here so far. But as we're starting the React show, I might check. Remember, for some reason, past couple of days, I don't seem to be getting the messages about 1 Minute Man's contribution. I don't know why. But I check it, it's there. So I'll check in a little bit. Anyway, we have a little bit of extra time, but not a lot, guys. If you have a couple quick questions you'd like to have answered, I might have opportunity to answer them. Thank you, Derek, for your membership message. It's Happy Sunday. I found 2 Halloween videos. Sounds good. I think I got them in. I'm pretty sure they're in the playlist. Yes, hello, Juan David. No, I don't play the violin, Willow. Sewage King, I don't have any thoughts about worldwide conflicts on the other side of the globe that I know nothing about. I'm not a geopolitical guy. I'm not the guy to ask. I'm a fucking internet gamer. I don't know why you even waste your time. Jade says, how about Detective Pikachu soon? I may play that Detective Pikachu game when things slow down. I was actually thinking about doing it maybe around the end of the year, perhaps. We'll look into it. I'll see. Abdullah says, will we be able to vote for more Street Fighter 6 in November? Vote? I don't think so. You can always share your opinion that you want more. You know, it's going to be challenging balancing Street Fighter with all the content, but once the new content slows down, maybe we can do more. I don't know. We'll see. Do I have any controversial opinions? Yes, every one of my opinions is controversial. I keep them all to myself for that very reason. Mr. Game Master says the new Mario Rabbids was amazing. Shame it didn't sell. Yeah, both that and Midnight Suns flopped. It was a double flop of the same genre of game. Not only did they directly compete with each other and release within like 2 weeks of each other, but then they came out during the busy gaming season when no hype was behind them and everyone else talked about everything else, so no one even bought them. What a shame. No Sweet Real Vibes says he's excited for the Call of Duty beta later tonight. I mean, me too. I haven't even downloaded it yet, but I'm hoping that it's good. If not, I guess I'm not getting the game this year. I guess we'll see, you know. But I'm interested to see what it is. Would I have friends join my stream for a co-op marathon? I don't even know what we would do for a co-op marathon. There's just not a lot of co-op games around these days besides these, like, Battle Royale, like Apex Legends or looter shooters. And I don't think either of those would be very riveting content for a stream, so I don't even know what co-op I would do. Yes, I agree, Derek. OP Boone has been giving great suggestions. In fact, that suggestion that we were going to talk about this morning about setting up streams ahead of time was his, but we didn't have time to talk about it. Favorite brand of cigarettes? None. I hate cigarettes. I grew up in a house where my mother would smoke constantly, Cool Miles. And they drove me nuts, like to the point where I have weak lungs. I literally have weakened lungs because I grew up in a house with secondhand smoke my whole life when I was younger. And I just hate cigarettes in general now because of it. So, everyone here is good. No Sleep Real Vibes. Double M says, I think Call of Duty should be completely boycott until Activision gives us an innovative project, perhaps. Jade says he'll see me tonight for Call of Duty. Sounds good, Jade. Yes, I've carved pumpkins and made jack-o'-lanterns before. I have. Not recently. It's been a very long time since I have, but I did used to do it when I was younger. Cheese or guacamole for dipping? You know, they're both good. It depends. I've had really good guacamole, and I've had quite disgusting, bland, gooey, nasty guacamole. So I guess it really depends on the quality. See, with cheese, there's different kinds. You have nacho cheese. You could have, like, an actual melted Mexican-style cheese with other things in it. That's delicious. While guacamole is guacamole, and you need to have a good batch. I would probably say I would probably eat cheese more than guacamole, although I do enjoy a good guacamole. Gatsukatsu, welcome back. Things have been pretty good. I've been enjoying this fall gaming season so far. Most difficult thing for me has been the goddamn weather, but now the weather cooled down today, so I think we'll be good. And I'm looking forward to everything coming up. The next 2 months will be insane, I'm sure. No, I've never tried a leverless arcade stick. I've answered this many times. I'm interested in it. It looks fascinating that if you could just use 4 buttons to control, a character or whatever. But I've never used one before. I grew up in arcades. That wasn't even an idea. It was all about a joystick. Opinion on Mexican beer companies like Corona or Modelo. Do I like any of them? I don't really drink beer. When I was younger, we used to drink Coronas all the time. I thought that they were okay. But I probably wouldn't even drink that kind of beer today, even if I were to drink beer, I'm not a beer guy. I never drank Capri Sun back in the day, therefore I don't have a favorite flavor. Yeah. I was more of a Kool-Aid High C guy. There's a new Captain America There's a new Captain America movie next year that has Harrison Ford and Seth Rollins in it. Okay. Fascinating. Wow. What's my take on Billy Mitchell? Why would I even have a take on Billy Mitchell? I don't care about King Kong. Excuse me. I don't care about Donkey Kong. So why would I care about Billy Mitchell? However, I'm a hot sauce aficionado, and his hot sauce is swill. That's all I have to say about that. I've actually never had his hot sauce. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's right. That RoboCop game releases next month. I don't know if I'm playing that. I don't know. Another game that's coming in the midst of so much other stuff that it's going to probably be forgotten. I don't know. We'll see. Do I miss Rick Moranis? Rick Moranis was amazing in all the movies he was in, but I don't necessarily miss him. He retired. I heard from personal reasons, like family issues and stuff, is the reason why he retired. You know, he got out. I guess he got out when he was younger and the getting was good. You know, so it is what it is. But I mean, I don't miss him. I can still watch all his work and enjoy it. Which should I prefer, Kmart or KB Toys? I went to KB Toys all the time. Kmart I rarely went to. Kmart was more of a discount store, while KB Toys was a dedicated toy store that had an insane selection. Do I have orange lighting? I do, but it doesn't show up. That's orange. This is red. Oops. This is red. This is orange. Red. Orange. It doesn't really pick up on the camera, so... yeah. Let's see here. I got a $1.25 tip from Pimple Shits. The game was called Hatred, a top-down view game where you can go and murder people. It was banned in some countries. Sounds stupid. I think that was something people talked about many years ago, right? Yeah, it sounds pretty dumb. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I think it's time for us to adjourn. I think we'll end the show, and we need to get the React stuff going. All right? Should be fun. Like I said, I think there's actually a lot of Halloween-themed stuff on the React show today, which would be good. I like having themed stuff for the React show, rather than it being all kind of just randomized. Actually having kind of something to tie it all together is nice. Good podcast today. I think tomorrow, excuse me, tomorrow, unless we have a giant amount of like news and stuff to talk about, I think tomorrow we should discuss this idea of me possibly setting up streams way ahead of time. I think there's pros and cons to it, and I think that sadly I wouldn't always be able to do it. But we'll talk about that tomorrow on the show. All right? Thank you all. Great podcast today. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you all for the support. Thank you all for chilling and enjoying this spooky season of the fall. Now I will officially have real fall weather moving forward, which is delightful. It means I'll be in a much better mood. I'm serious. Just the weather not being overheated in here is going to put me into a much better mood to hang out and chill with all of you and have a good time. And so I thank you all sincerely for a great show today. You're a great and interactive audience. And tomorrow we will talk about how the React show went. But in the meantime, happy Halloween.